Hey everyone, Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have had quite a lot of notable earthquake activity over the past week. We have been in a global seismic burst. These happen every now and then where we get this clustering of earthquake activity in distinct periods of time. And well, as this is occurring, we are now having solar activity begin to ramp up again. We did have two back-to-back geomagnetic storms earlier in March, a G2, G3 long duration storm. That was around March 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And now as you go towards the end of the month, and as we get closer to the perihelion, the closest approach of a sun-grazing comet on the 4th of April, a bunch of sunspots are rotating towards Earth facing and direct. We see that here with our view of the sun, two different views combined, our 171 and 304 angstrom views. We see sunspot group 4401, we see 4402, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4405 has been very active just in the past 24 to 36 hours, as you can see with this video here. Two coronal mass ejections launched, and if you look, you'll just notice more crackling and zipping and zapping of activity than with these other sunspots. But in general, right now, sunspot activity is quite high at about 140 for the daily count today. This is higher than it has been for quite some time now, and all these sunspots will be lined up Earth center direct across the entire face of the sun in 1 week's time when we get the closest approach of C2026A1 MAPS, a Kreutz sungrazer comet, coming in very close to the sun at 0.05 astronomical units. Let's talk more about our earthquake activity. This is really the big story here. We see this seismic burst. Most recently, a magnitude 6.5 earthquake ruptured off the coast of Japan in the rough location of that 9.1 megaquake back in 2011 that triggered the Fukushima meltdown and that disaster, that tsunami, everything. We get a lot of earthquake activity in that location in general, and also, of course, across all of Japan. It's one of the most seismically prone areas in the world. But here we see this seismic burst defined primarily by this magnitude 7.5 that struck Tonga. I gave a comprehensive update on that earthquake and also the volcanic activity in that area with yesterday's video on my main channel. But we see that overall earthquake activity is elevated for the past 7 days or so. And this is what we see, where sometimes we get these long periods of just low to moderate activity, may get broken up a little bit like we see here with this magnitude 7.1. It was downgraded to a 7. That is what struck Borneo, Malaysia, that area back in February. But basically long period of inactivity, and then boom shakalaka, tons of activity right there. We can look at an earthquake map more specifically to see some other zones of activity other than just these high magnitude quakes. Let's zone in on, first off, our big earthquake here. 7.5 Tonga again back on the 24th. We see that we had a bunch of magnitude 6s and lesser quakes just to the north south of Samoa. That is an area to watch, as I described in my video recently on my main channel. Here we see the 6.5 that ruptured yesterday. That's a big earthquake. Did not trigger tsunami, and because it is off the coast and pretty far away from main population centers, not really a big deal, but it's still a big earthquake. We see that we just here had a magnitude 5.1 aftershock. All the other aftershocks are are less than magnitude 5. So we see some magnitude 4s there. That's a big earthquake. Also worthy of note is this seismic burst that we've had here in and around Pakistan in the Himalayas. So 5.0, 5.0, 5.3. So some activity up there as well just in the past 24 hours. We're seeing some activity, of course, across the Mediterranean. This has been elevated now for a couple weeks, so that is continuing. And also quite a bit of activity along these spreading centers. So the boundaries of the plates, which is a little bit of a sign that we're looking at larger plate movements here and not just isolated seismic events. There's larger regional forces that are pushing the plates, and as a result we're getting these earthquakes distributed along those boundaries. And when you have a large plate movement, then you can see larger earthquakes. That's really kind of the key, because a larger earthquake ruptures more of the fault and you get this larger slip event, and you can get more destruction and all the things that earthquakes can do. But you need the plate to be able to move in the first place. And so, well, that's what we're seeing. We can look at our radiation belts right now. Because we have come out of this long duration G3 storm, the plasma environment around our Earth right now is very charged up. And this influences the entire geophysical system. So we look at what are known as the radiation belts, which surround our planet. And after a geostorm and during the storm, the plasma in these structures, these shells around our planet, they precipitate down into the ionosphere, into the atmosphere, and into the crust, and they energize everything. So we're talking about more earthquakes, more severe weather, volatile weather, things like that. Well, after the storm, all that solar plasma then comes in and replenishes these belts of energy, and we see that they're very high flux right now, pretty much right at the highest levels that they can reach. I mean, they can get higher than this, but it's not like we see these levels every single day, typically just after a pretty significant solar storm impact. And well, that's exactly what happened. We can see this visualized with our data graphic here. We'll see the ion precipitation as this storm comes in. It'll turn a dark blue. This is our flux right here. So if it's a dark blue, it means that basically all the plasma is gone, and then it recharges up afterwards. So we see this recharging that's taking place, and at this moment in time, we are effectively fully ready to go for another big plasma precipitation event. We get these all the time. Anytime there's a solar storm impact, we get this to happen. Doesn't mean it's insignificant. Just because it happens all the time doesn't mean it doesn't affect us energetically. You see that big crunch right there? That's from that solar storm impact coming in, and then the ensuing geomagnetic storm. We can also look here at some of our recent activity with the sun. We don't have any solar shock waves or coronal mass ejections coming in at this moment in time, but we do see these coronal mass ejections launching from sunspot group 4405. So we see the first one right there, then we see a second one following up right behind. This is the planet Saturn. It just performed its Cazimi, a superior conjunction on the other side of the sun. Close by is also Neptune, though you don't see that in the chronograph views. But we see that we are having some planetary influences as well at this time. Some alignments. The Neptune and Saturn configuration is quite significant. Those who have been watching my channel would know that. We've talked about it in depth. But we can see these sunspots directly by looking at our sun. Here we see the past 48 hours of sunspot activity on the Earth-facing side. We see 4401 right there. There's a lot of sunspot growth that occurred in between these two parts of the flux lobe just over the past few days. Now it's starting to stretch further apart, but look at all the sunspots that have just now rotated in. So this is definitely something to watch, because as sunspot numbers go up, effectively this means that you have more opportunities for there to be potentially solar flares and coronal mass ejections. If you have a spotless sun, you're probably not going to get much. Maybe a plasma filament blast off, and that can impact Earth and trigger, a geomagnetic storm. But really, we're looking at sunspots. We're looking at complexity, the size. This guy has it. It's now right in that Earth center zone. Hasn't been that active. Really, it's 4405, which we see right there, looking pretty big, and it's actively growing. That is the sunspot to watch, and all of these are going to be basically completely covering the Earth-facing side of the sun as we go into April, and then really around the perihelion of C2026A1 maps, that sun-grazing comet, which are going to get very, very close. And so perhaps we get some sort of disturbance to the sun by that, because we do see observationally all the time how comets seem to provoke solar activity. And the leading idea explaining that is that it's electromagnetic interactions between the comet and the sun, because a comet isn't just dust, ice, and gas, it's also a lot of plasma. Especially the closer it gets to the sun, the more all that ionizes. It's getting closer to the sun, it's traveling faster and faster. You hit this critical velocity where you can just simply have gas ionize into plasma, and now you have the electromagnetic force interacting with established structures on the sun, the electric fields, magnetic flux ropes and tubes, all this stuff. It gets pretty wild. But we could see a response from the sun around the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th of April as a result of this comet flying in so close, and we have the sunspots to support it. Just to show you the progression of sunspots over the past month, we see that we are nearly at 0 here back around the same time in March. We had some spotless days where there were no sunspots on the Earth-facing side of the sun. Then we see we charged up. We have a little bit of a dip. There is a kind of a rotation here, a little bit of non-homogeneity with the sun right now. So we see this regular rise and fall. Well, now we're charging up to close to 150. So we are getting close to over 150 on our daily count, though it looks like our monthly count for March is not clocking in over 100. It's actually only about 85 or so. So this is where we are right now with our sun, the earth, the cosmos, and more. I will keep you up to date on all of this, so please subscribe to the channel. I've been your host, Stefan Burns, wishing each and every single one of you well. This is my Clips channel. Make sure you subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. My main channel, I release updates and I do live streams there, so subscribe there as well if you're encountering me for the first time. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.